Under the Black Flag. The Romance and the Reality of Life Among the Pirates by David Cordingly. So this is, I think I've just told you what it is. This is sort of a history book about what it was like in real life to be a pirate, what things were really like for actual pirates. Now, of course, there are still pirates. So we know that there are still pirates, and there have been probably pirates as long as there have been ships to sail the seas. But we're talking about sort of a specific time when, during the time of colonization and when the pirates were sort of, well, anyway, it actually goes back a bit as well, but it doesn't come into the very modern times. So, all right, let's have a look at the dust jacket, Under the Black Flag. And then we have the book itself, basically nondescript. And inside, it's not illustrated, but there are the occasional maps, which are nice. And I don't know, I've said it before, I'm kind of a sucker for the rough edge cut pages. I don't know, there's something about it, I just feel the texture of it that I like a little bit. So each chapter starts with this fun sort of thing here, but do not be fooled. This is not a fun, well, it could be a fun book, I guess, but it's not a light-hearted book. It's actually, I think he takes the subject very seriously. And it's just that it's not illustrated, but yeah, there's the pockets of these, which I forgot about. But these aren't throughout the book. There's a pocket, or a section where you have this kind of thing. Henry Morgan in 1688. Calico Jack. So he talks about the reality versus, Errol Flynn in the movies, and what things were really like. Like walking the plank. Okay, so here's an image of someone walking the plank, but that's not a real thing. That's, some drawing or painting or engraving or something like that. But although it did happen, it was not a very common thing at all. That just wasn't really a very common thing. Anyway, it's interesting. It's fairly well written. I think it's well written. And there's a map. There are maps, as I say, throughout. So it's not lighthearted because it's history, but it is. I think it's well written history. It's well done, and yeah, I don't know. Fills in some gaps that I had about pirates, which were very, very large, since all my knowledge of pirates comes from movies and TV shows before this. But there's a good map. Yeah, I don't know whether whether academic research has changed his, what he said since this was written. So this came out in '95. For all I know, people said, no, everything he wrote is wrong. But I doubt it. I think probably it has stood test of time. Torture, violence, and marooning. Oh, that got me for a second. Marooning, like leaving someone on an island to be marooned. I couldn't read it for a second. Okay, here we go. That's Under the Black Flag. The Romance and Reality of Life Among the Pirates. I hope I'm not underselling it. It's interesting. It's just that if you're coming at it like, oh, I want to learn about pirates, yes, and shooting and it's the romance and reality, but the reality is the meat of it. The reality is doing the heavy lifting in this book. And so if you're interested in the actual history of it, this is great. But if you sort of want to learn, if you're looking for a rollicking tale, this is less that. Okay, Under the Black Flag by David Cordingly.